What's going on, guys? Welcome to November's episode of Game of the Month, the show where we pick a game at random every month, and throughout the month we play it. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
And this month we played Lost Plant 2, and we are going to be revealing our Game of the Month picked by you guys, the community pick, soon. But before we do that, let's jump through some quick reminders to download and play Titanfall 2 and Monster Energy Supercross, the new games offered on PlayStation Plus in December. Make sure to download those, play those, come back at the end of the month. We'll talk about that on Plus Club. And yeah, if you missed it, we talked about Neo and Outlast 2 yesterday, so make sure to check that out. We had a really good reception on that. I welcome everybody who joined the conversation on Reddit and the people that subscribed. Welcome to the channel. We got Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. So before we get into talking about Lost Plant 2 and our impressions of that, as people who follow the channel know, and people who might have just joined, because we got over like 20 new people, or even other new people might have showed up, which would be great. We have been doing for the last 2 months a community pick for our game of the month. Our game of the month, the way that works is we have a list that we put back burner games on, and every month we have a random number generated. We pick the random number and we look at our list and we're like, hey, that's the game that won, and that becomes our game of the month. Well, this year we decided to allow all of us to pick a game every 3 months, and then this last month we allowed you guys to vote for the game of the month. It's been a long 2 months, and a lot of people have stayed dedicated in voting, which I really appreciate that. Thank you everybody who participated, whether you voted once or like 26 times. It's appreciated, and it's been really fun to watch that kind of unfold. Next year I think I'm going to make a couple new iterations to it to kind of see how it works there. I'd like to maybe streamline it down to maybe a month, and maybe take all the things that are voted for, take the highest voted ones, put on a list, and randomly roll so that everybody has a chance still, but the highest voted ones will still make it to that list. So let me know in the comments what you think of that. But this year we had you guys vote more, and we're going with the majority vote wins, which has been very interesting to do. So before we go through the winner, the runners-up, and all the games that were part of the whole process, is there anything you guys want to say about this experience? If you guys enjoyed it, which ones are maybe you hoping might have won? For anybody who didn't know what the games were, they are 999 Zero Escape, The Non-Raid, Jurassic World Evolution, Sea of Thieves, Dovetail Games, Eurofishing, Overwatch, Man of Medan, Super Mario Bros., WoW Classic, and Greedfall. Those were the games that were the finalists.
I mean, probably out of all those, the one I'm most curious to play would have been Jurassic Park, just because it's been a while since I played a game like that. I've heard good things from community members. I have multiple played.
Jeremy.
Is it
Just Jeremy. Everybody else is going, should I pick that up? And he's like, yes, and nobody did it.
Oh, and he's been very adamant for a while now that people should play it. So I already picked it up just in case it ends up being the winner. So
Me too.
But that's the one I was most curious in. I have a feeling personally that it probably didn't, but I would be. I'm happy either way. I mean, this thing's for you guys, so
Yeah.
I've just been excited to play anything that everybody else wants us to play. Like, I don't know. I'm just, the whole process has been like really fun and exciting for me. And any of the games would have been fun. Even the fishing one, I probably would have found some enjoyment. That's the winner.
So hard to admit that. And yeah, I mean, we all enjoy the random nature of Game of the Month every month. I really enjoy finding out what we're going to be playing all together. And for anybody, obviously, who wants to join us on that adventure every month. But this month has been really interesting just because I kind of wanted to see, first off, where everybody was at, what games they wanted us to play, but also the community to play together. But also, we got some really interesting ones in there, and a lot of them I really kind of welcomed, because there's some games here similar to Plus Club that kind of pushes me out of my comfort zone. For sure. And those are the type of games that I'm going to get excited to try. This one's a little different because this is out of our own pocket, that we're like, if we don't have this game, we're picking it up. So whereas Plus Club is just like, random. But it's been really exciting to watch that kind of evolve. As one reason why I want next year to be slightly more random, just so it is for me alone, or also completely random. So I can be like, whoa, because I do know the winner. But it's been really cool so far. I've really enjoyed doing this, and I definitely look forward to doing it next year as well. It's really crazy that on this channel we have like annual, yearly shit. It's quite the investment to do all this, but it's always really fun. So yeah. Unless there's anything else you guys want to say, I'm just going to go through the bottom and work my way up. I also took a really cool idea from community member Jeremy. His name's coming up again. And I will be revealing that towards the top 3. So yeah, ready?
Yep.
All right, so all in 8th place. We got 3 games. Got the same amount of votes. We got Greedfall, WoW Classic, and Super Mario Bros. These were all voted for by people who were like drive-bys, like passerby, just like this one, and then they just never came back. And I'm like, oh, those are interesting. So in 8th place, we got again Greedfall, WoW Classic, Super Mario Bros. I should probably pick up Greedfall at some point. It's a game I've been wanting to play, but yeah, whoever voted for that was just like, just play it, and then they left. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Duly noted. In 7th place, we got Man of Medan, which anybody who follows the channel knows I've already played this game, and I really didn't like it a lot. This is like the second horror game this year I played that just ruined my life. Luckily, I got to play Outlast 2 recently, which is a lot better of a horror game, even though I didn't beat that one. I beat the ones I don't like, didn't beat the one I liked. Why is that the fucking case? That's a curse of Seth. So Man of Medan, 7th place. In 6th place, we got Overwatch, which, I think is a really good pick just because it is a really good community game. I think most people can get in and play Overwatch. A lot of people already own it. I think we all own it already. So it's a really good, I think it's a really good idea to pick Overwatch because it is a game that everybody's kind of ready to go and play. Similar to someone like picked Warframe or something. I'd be like, oh, cool. We could, this is just, or Monster Hunter. These are like games that most people in the community have. So we're all ready to just jump in. In 5th place, started off really strong and then fucking somebody just kind of forgot the dream. But Dovetail Games Eurofishing, 5th place, made it pretty high on the fucking list. I gotta admire the hustle of that in the first month. Second month, it was like, yeah, it's over. That was a fun joke.
I was panicking the first month. I was like, no, God, no.
It started like feeling like real. I was like, oh shit, this might happen.
You had your chance, you squandered it.
And a couple things that, in retrospect of the 2 months that we've invested, 2 fucking months we've invested in this, some people started, and I'm being vague about that because I don't want to be about the specifics, but some people started to vote for other games into the second month. They abandoned some games they're voting for and started voting for other games and started voting for multiple games. So started kind of changing everything up as I was watching it kind of unfold. So that was really interesting to see. In 4th place, we got Divinity Original Sin 2. This is a game that I was really excited to see on the list. This is a game that I own. I've played it already a little bit. Really like it. I really want an excuse to play it. So if this would have won, I'd be like, man, I can actually fucking play this. Would have been cool to play with people. These are all excuses, though. I have it. I can already play it. So I mean, like, it's not, yeah. But I was like, oh man, maybe they can force me to play it. But it got 4th place. So yeah, here's what we're gonna do with the top 3. We have a definitive winner. That's going to be our game of the month next month. And the 2 runners up will actually make it onto our game of the month list. We have a list we already have that is all back burner games. The 2 runners up, you guys didn't lose. They're making it onto the list, so there will always be a chance of them getting pulled. So that's what we're going to do. I'm really excited to do that. Jeremy had said the top 5. I thought it was a really good idea, but I was like, 5's a lot of games to throw on the list. So we're going to go with 2. But thank you for that idea. Jeremy's really good. As soon as he said, I was like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. This is why we have a community. I like these ideas. So, number 3, going on to our, game of the month list. You're going to have to put these on for me at some point, is 999 Zero Escape the Nonary, which is, I believe, like a narrative type game. It's like a decision-based game, but it's like I bought it because I started seeing some of the games that were getting towards the top. I'm like, I should just buy all of them just in case one of them, whichever one wins, I'm ready for it. And that one is way out of what I typically play.
For sure.
So not only was I excited for it to possibly win, but I was also excited that it's going to be on our game of the month list now because it's a game that I would never play otherwise. I never knew it existed until it was brought up. So really cool.
I don't even know what it is.
It was a game that came out, I think, on DS or something like that, and it was really well received. And apparently, the people who make those games, all their games are really well received. People love the storytelling in them, but they're 2D. I think on PC, the PC version's fully voice acted and stuff, but it's pretty much anime looking, but it's it's a story that you're playing through, and you get to pick stuff. So it's not really like the type of game we play a lot on the channel. So
Yeah.
I was actually really stoked about that. In second place, we got Jurassic World Evolution, which will now be on our Game of the Month list as well. Really excited to try that one as well, just because, again, that's those type of games I do like. The whole like build a park sim type thing, but that one's interesting because it's Jurassic Park, Jurassic World,
Right.
So there's the element of dinosaurs. Really excited to play that at some point. I also picked that one up as well. And in first place, we got Sea of Thieves, which is our winner for Game of the Month community pick for December. We will be playing that throughout December.
All right.
Having shark flashbacks.
We all played together when it came out, and that was, I mean, it was good fun. But yeah, Chris has reason to have PTSD. He got lobbed down to the sea a couple times.
Fighting off sharks.
So yeah, what do you guys think about our Game of the Month for next month and the runners-up?
Well, I'll have a reason to play it, which is great because I bought it when it came out and then just have not really played
You
it
did,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, so
I've been playing on Game Pass. I should probably just buy it.
well, at least you have access to it. I already have it installed because I kind of had a feeling it was going to end up being the winner. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of adventures we have by the end of the month. So
Yeah, this will be a fun game to play with people because I mean that's what this game's for. I mean I've played this game by myself and it's a really neat experience visually and being on seas stuff like that. But it's really at its core such a group, like co-op game. So it's a really good pick for like community. Yeah,
I'm gonna pull out my hurdy-gurdy and just sit in the front of the ship. I'm excited.
you sound excited.
Just keep me away from the cannons.
And yeah, I'm excited to play this. You know, every time I always have installed, I go to play it by myself, and I'm like, eh. So now, you know, I'll have a reason to be like, hey, we gotta play this. Let's play it. So it'll be fun to play. Again, thank you everybody who's been voting for the last 2 months. Everybody who's been watching and keeping up with that. And yeah, it's really fun. Hopefully we have some experience next year. So and thanks for all the recommendations on games. It was a good list. And yeah, I'm trying to type in Sea of Thieves on my phone right now. Got it. All right. So, with that out of the way, we're playing Sea of Thieves in December. We're also playing Titanfall 2 and Monster Energy Supercross, not Hunter Supercross. Let's move into Game of the Month for November. In Game of the Month, or in November for Game of the Month, we played Lost Planet 2, which is a sequel to Lost Planet, and where the series probably should have ended because people hate Lost Planet 3. They say it pretty much killed the series. In Lost Planet 2, in case you didn't have a chance to play it, you play... okay, so we played it, and some stuff happened. I'm like, this is... okay, this is a story. And I looked up the synopsis. It literally just described exactly what we did. I'm like, that's the story? So this takes place 10 years after the first game on Eden 3, which is the planet, which is a snow planet. By this time in the game, snow has melted and jungles have been revealed. And you and your team, which is up in that snowy area, gets sent to an area to go fight pirates. There's snow pirates, there's jungle pirates. I assume wherever you're at, the pirates are that kind of pirate. After doing a mission, a random group of people pick you up, and you're like, oh, what happened to the team that's supposed to be here? And then they're like, oh, hey, everybody else got wiped out. You're lucky to be alive. And you're like, I think we got set up. And that's the story. It's a third-person shooter action game, 4-player cooperative, which consists of level-based missions. Thank you. Where you and the other people run around, shoot pirates, get in mechs, pick up giant fucking weapons, and yeah, shoot shit.
totally not a Capcom game.
Shoot insects. It's very much of the time of like when Resident Evil 5 and 6 came out because it's action fucking packed. And like, there's a part in the beginning where like these guys are out in the snow and they're running at each other with machine guns, shooting at each other. And one guy's like, ah, and he fucking swings his machine gun and just starts shooting it. And the other guy's running at him. He fucking does like a flip. He's like, and like, it's just like, they're like 10 feet away from each other. I'm like, only a Japanese game portrays guns like they're fucking like melee weapons and shit. Because like here, it's just like, you just point, shoot a guy. But yeah, and that, it reminded me of, if you've ever seen it, Battle Royale 2. Everyone's heard of the first one, but there's a second movie, and in that movie, there's a lot of like AK-47s get swung around and shot like fucking. I don't know. It's so weird to watch. I like watching it, but I'm like, what are they doing? That's not how guns are used.
They're doing gun kata, all right?
Yeah, that's what they would want you to believe. Yeah. So again, this is the sequel to the first one. Also, a couple things: you accrue currency in the game. You use that to spend on a slot machine that allows you to unlock titles, weapons, skins, all sorts of random shit that can essentially modify your gameplay. So if you unlock a weapon, it will, if you equip it, replace a specific weapon type that you would normally find throughout levels. It will now, that type of weapon will now become this one. Chevy felt like a gun sword thing.
Gun sword, yeah. It was a slower fire rate, but the melee turned the sword or the weapon into a sword. So,
which is pretty cool. The game definitely has an imagination. We all played it, and yeah, let's jump into impressions. Chevy, what was your impressions of Lost Planet 2? I also feel like it's important that we discuss the issues we had
that's where I was starting
to play this game,
Yeah.
and how we still played this game, even regardless of all the issues I have not had with the game in a long time. This really reminded me of like the old days of
yeah.
PC gaming.
Well, to get into that aspect, we all picked up the game on Steam and went to play it on that way. The game came out when Windows Live and Xbox Live were separate services, and essentially that's how they worked their PC games. So very similar to how like how do I word this? Overlays are in a lot of games now, except it was Windows Live running while the game was running. So big problem with that is
It's a shit system. The Windows 10
fixed.
fixed. Yeah. Windows 10 as a whole operating system, incorporating Xbox Live, such a better fucking system than that shit.
Yeah, 100%. So the problem being though that isn't inherently in Windows anymore. So when you go to start the game in Steam, it literally just doesn't. Except for Chris, for some reason, it worked fine. But for me and Seth, it did not even like attempt to boot. It just went.
Yeah, I click and it's like, hey, DirectX 9 or 11? I'm like, I don't care. Just pick one. I picked both. And it's like,
Nothing.
I'm like, okay, let's play it though. And I click it again and it's like, okay, DirectX 9 or 11? I'm like, both. And it's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, are we gonna fucking play this game?
No. So fortunately, one quick Google search and a Steam post later, it was a really easy fix. Though I imagine it was frustrating until that fix was found for people, because
It always was back in the day.
yeah, this
There's
is a
always the
Windows
big fix that finally fixed
8.1
everything.
and 10 problem. So you have to install Windows Live, and you have to install another aspect of it. I can't remember exactly what it is, but you go through this whole process. You install 2 programs, make rules in your firewall, and then restart everything, and the game will finally boot up. Then Windows Live has to update when you're trying to play the game, and it's not quick about it. So
Yeah. Yeah, that process was fucking stupid. And it's like, oh, I need to download your game profile. And I'm like, that's kilobytes of fucking information. Why is it taking 20 minutes?
yeah, exactly. Or it would time out and just not work and stuff. So
It's like finding those old fucking ancient fucking Xbox servers. And it's just like, and it's walking through with a lantern trying to find my info. And I'm like, dude, come on.
yeah, exactly. So
Rushing off the cobwebs.
after
I think I found it.
after our tech problems with the game and finally, getting our settings going and whatnot, we
And community member Psycho just laughing at us for like 20 minutes.
because he was in chat while we were trying to figure it out.
Sitting there listening to us bitch trying to figure this out. And he's like, the whole time.
But
That's exactly how he laughs.
we also learned, and obviously hop in, if you have something to add to this part, but in the first mission, the controls are a little weird. So
A little.
yeah,
Oh man, yeah, let's just jump into impressions for all of us at once with this one. The controls are fucking insane. There was an era, especially during the PS3, Xbox 360 era, where PC games got stagnant. Their graphics got locked in because the console cycle was lasting for so long, and they were making games primarily for console. Games would come out on console first, come out on Steam way later, and their controls would be very much set up for a controller in mind. And Then sometimes Japanese companies would release Dark Souls completely broken on PC, and the community would have to make the game work.
We ported it.
Yeah, we did it. We figured it out. You didn't have to do it. Okay, maybe you shouldn't have. This game is very much of its time. The controls are fucking insane, and the game does have quite a bit of things to do control-wise. So
Yes.
games like that do get more technical, but it also was very much built for a controller in mind. The game has a very
Generous.
very generous aim assist. I almost don't want to call it aim assist. Wherever you look, wherever your reticle's at, if anything's in like an area radius of that, it will have an X, a red X, as opposed to your normal white one, and it's auto aiming to that person.
Yep.
This actually, I turned this off when we first started playing because I was like, I don't want auto aim, and then I started playing and I'm like, this game was supposed to have that because otherwise it feels really clunky and weird.
It's really hard to aim, yeah.
So this game not only was almost impossible to play, it also is like challenging in its controls and necessity of using an aim assist.
Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, we all three of us literally kind of went through that minus the aim assist thing because I didn't shut that off myself. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we all ended up rebinding our keys because
So many.
yeah, it's not very intuitive off the bat.
I wasn't even happy with the way I set it up. It was better.
Yeah.
But I was still like, man, this
Yeah,
is
it kinda
still kind of
settled.
weird. Yeah. Set up more like a PC FPS, as close as I could get.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So all the tech stuff out of the way. I'm finally gonna get into my impressions. Sorry.
Very much part of the impressions, though.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I
we
figured
also-
those are pretty universal. That's why I wanted to just get them out of the way.
We also ran into connection issues regularly. People would pop out, disappear, have to reconnect. We have to restart missions. So there was a lot of technical issues with this game.
100%. That being said, at the very beginning of the game, what I'm going to call the tutorial mission of the game, I was actually kind of immediately impressed with how decent the game still looks. Capcom is really good about that. They make nice looking games, so they last years, it seems like. I also really liked the multi-perspective in co-op. That's seems very ahead of its time.
Yeah, me and you got a tutorial. Chris got a helicopter ride.
Yeah,
Just ride
and
the
we saw
fucking
different.
chopper.
Yeah, we saw different things, and I was just like kind of impressed by that, to be honest.
It's funny because me and you were like running through the snow or whatever. We didn't even notice Chris wasn't there. And we're like talking about stuff, and Chris is like, "What, in the helicopter?" And we're like, "What helicopter?" He's like, "I'm in a helicopter." And I like looked around. I'm like,
What fucking
"Where's
helicopter?
Chris
Yeah.
at?" And fucking it's just me and Chevy out in the snow. I'm on like a mech, and Chevy's just hanging onto the mech. And I'm like, and then we got into some shit. And he's like, "Oh, all I see is just these bugs everywhere." I'm like, and then we come out to this area, and finally we see Chris just running around. I'm like, "Oh, they let you off the fucking helicopter, huh?"
So
It was
yeah,
turret simulator.
though it was confusing at first. I appreciate it.
It's
'cause
neat.
It's neat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like the first two players are A team, and the second two players would probably be B team. Because then
CT.
another level,
I didn't even get the information of like how to use the grapple or anything like that, like you guys did. I was just like, "There's shoot the bugs." Okay.
Yeah.
Shoot them again. There's more. All right. Fuck.
yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, there's gonna be a theme here for me when it comes to like what you just said there, where there's like quality of life stuff. Really, kind of, if this game was made today, I would hope would be added in there. So, but so that's really neat. It's a really good tutorial. You get your first kind of like boss fight. Where you learn about like the big glowy orange weak points. Obviously, you played the first game. This isn't new to you, but for people like if this is their first game, they make it really obvious with that fight.
Pretty straightforward. I
Yeah.
mean, you look at any enemy, and you're like, "I'm gonna shoot that thing,"
Yeah.
because it's really bright, and the rest of it looks like a normal insect.
Yeah, for sure. And then, you get through that, and then we finally started getting through and doing the missions and stuff. And what I started ended up noticing was, as I was getting over the hurdles of learning how to play the game, I was actually finding that I was having a really good time with it. It just really is designed poorly. Is the biggest flaw I personally find in this. I would love to see this game either remastered or just rebooted, and huge quality of life changes, to be honest, because I think they have a very solid foundation for a great co-op game here. The amount of unlockables seems like it's absolutely ridiculous, which is great. I love the idea and how you play to stuff. It needs to be a little more precise in aiming and stuff like that. Those are things I'm just not really like. I can play it and I have fun, but like I would love to see it like I'm shooting that guy instead of the game shooting that guy. Lots of vehicles and stuff like that. It's just I don't know. There was never a moment where I was like not having fun, and the hurdles weren't stopping me from playing. And I really kind of am bummed out that the series died after playing this because there's just a lot of fun to be had there. But yeah, I would if Capcom revisits, because I know they had mentioned revisiting old series at this point, modernize the gameplay, but keep that co-op feel there because I really liked that myself. You guys want to hop in?
Yeah, I've played the first Lost Planet and Lost Planet 2. Never played Lost Planet 3, but I've liked the series ever since it came out. Played this already, really liked it then. So coming back to it, I was really excited to play it. In fact, when we were playing it, and you were saying like, "Oh, I actually this kind of sucks I didn't play this when it came out." I'm actually enjoying this. I was stoked to hear that because I've always thought Lost Planet 2 is like a really solid game. It's a really fun cooperative game. I think it marries some really interesting ideas that are very Capcom. It has the gameplay of Resident Evil 5 and 6, even if your opinion on those games is like mine and you think it kind of killed the series there for a while, the gameplay was still fun. Resident Evil 5 was a fun game to play. 6 was a fun game to play. This kind of feels like those games in a sense, but it also has like the toys you'd expect from like a Dead Rising. There's like all these weird things everywhere that you're just picking up and you're like carrying it and it's like temporary and you drop in, grab something else, you jump in a mech. And the game's just designed to always offer you all these ways to have fun in the level. You can just run through and shoot shit, but there's always going to be something sitting around that you can pick up and use to kind of have a different experience with the level. And then it definitely reminds me a lot of like Monster Hunter in the sense that sometimes you fight giant bosses and it's just like four of you running around this big thing, like dodging and like anticipating moves and shooting weak points, stuff like that. So it has a lot of these really Capcom ideas all married into the game. And it's a really fun game. Gameplay wise, it's aside from everything we've already talked about when it comes to inconveniences and also technical issues, it's a really solid third person shooter. Every time I play it, I always get upset that we didn't get a proper third iteration. That's the one that killed the series. People did not like 3. I never played it. I heard so many bad things about it. I never touched it. But playing this, I'm like, dude, we need to remaster this. We need a brand new Lost Planet. And recently, we've covered it on the channel a couple months ago, but Capcom was saying that because Resident Evil 2 remastered it so well, and Devil May Cry and all that shit, that they want to start revitalizing old brands, which is really cool to hear because for a while they're being really reserved in what they're creating because they weren't doing so well with a lot of their games.
Like Square did. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And after Monster Hunter World, they start knocking out of the park, and we've all been celebrating that. And then they're like, "Hey, you guys are really liking all these games that we're bringing back, and you seem to be like really digging them. Like, I guess we're doing a good job. That's nice to hear. So we want to start bringing these back." And first thing I thought was like, Lost Planet, dude. Let's get a new one. Don't even call it like 4. Just call it Lost Planet something. Bring back the core ideas of what Lost Planet is, the 4-player cooperative shooter with mechs and all that shit. Just make it play better, make it look better, which they would do. The RE engine's fucking fantastic looking. And I'd be excited. Just make sure to follow the blueprint of Lost Planet 1 and 2 and not 3, because 3, biggest thing people didn't like about it is it was more story oriented. So you're playing this like main character who is like a character piece. It was like it's about him, and a lot of people just didn't like it. I guess it felt weird or something. So yeah, I really like a new one, but playing with you guys was really fun. I really like that not only is every level different feeling, sometimes they're shorter levels, sometimes they're longer levels, sometimes there's a big boss battle, sometimes there's a boss that you're like, they get really creative on the bosses. So one of them is this big thing that shows up out of the water, and you're essentially running around a map while it's swinging at everybody, and everybody's like shooting at different points of it. You're running around grabbing weapons and just
like a
unloading.
Frog tongue.
Yeah. And then later there's a boss, and anybody played it already knows about all these, but it's a giant like 6-legged monster that's walking on this huge map, and you're trying to like blow its legs off to stop it, and it's just running around like with a bunch of tongues just swinging at people and stuff. So you're running around this whole map, just this giant chameleon boss. Yeah, it's like a salamander chameleon thing.
Yeah.
And then if you knock it down, you're able to run into its mouth and attack it from the inside. And that's all happening in real time. So even if you don't go in it, there's somebody inside there doing that shit. And it's a really cool idea. I mean, I would love to see them do stuff like that, but get more ambitious in a modern time with a game like that. But these are really cool ideas that are still not, in my opinion, being realized in games now. So this game really offers an experience that is Lost Planet. I can't think of a game that's like Lost Planet or Lost Planet 2. And that's quite the compliment I can give that game, is it's very unique. Somehow they took a third-person shooter and made a unique experience. That's pretty hard to fucking do.
For sure.
It's lacking in the story department, but you're not playing this game for the story. I mean,
No.
I had to look up the story after we played it. I was like, what was going on? And it's literally exactly what was going on when we played it. I love that the game has essentially, in my opinion, like modifiers. So if you unlock certain weapons, you can replace certain weapons. It's a cool way to kind of modify the experience per player. So maybe you're like, I prefer all these kind of weapons, so I'm always going to run into these kind of weapons, and you might like the same ones I have, but you haven't unlocked them yet, or like you might have different ones unlocked. This game does have online multiplayer, like versus stuff. We didn't play that. I remember playing it back in the day. Don't remember it all too well though, but it was fine. There's ways to unlock stuff there too. And yeah, this game just offers a lot, especially for the time. This game is not, I mean, it's pretty old. It's been around for a while now, and it still feels really fresh. Graphically, I think it's still really sharp looking. It's not like amazing looking, but it's shiny. It's super like smooth and sharp on its edges. Like everything's really crisp looking in the game. It's pretty impressive.
Like it aged very well.
Yeah. I mean, it's really impressive. With the way it looks, the cinematics I think are still done really well. I mean, they're over dramatic, but but they're neat. I mean, I was like literally watching these scenes, and like a lot of games, it'll just be like a cut scene where it just shows someone's face while they're talking, and shows the next person's face while they're talking, and then it'll like show a wide shot of like the background. We gotta go over there, and like that's it. But this has like these fully rendered cinematics where people are like, remind me almost like Metal Gear Solid, where they're like underwater, and the whole time they're getting like this like mission briefing, and they're just like,
oh yeah,
like going underwater and shooting these things. They're trying to stop them, and then they're like all get out of their ships, and they're like swimming, and they're like stealthily like moving in on this base and stuff. And I'm like,
when like the crazy camera angles when the torpedoes are going and stuff like that too. Like,
yeah. And the whole time I'm like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know what's going on in the story, but I'm interested. This seems like real shit. I feel like something important's happening here. I'm looking at all these guys. They look real pissed and just ready to fucking wreck some shit. I'm like, all right, I'm into this kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, I it sucks there's some technical issues and some quality of life issues that I think could easily be remedied. And maybe there's mods out there to make it better. I don't know. But underneath all that, there's still a game really worth playing there. I mean, even when I was getting kicked out of the game, I was trying to get back in. I wasn't like, fuck it, okay, I'll just try and play it later. I was like, okay, once you guys are done with the level, I'll try and rejoin, because I was enjoying myself. I wanted to play the game more. It's just unfortunate. It is a victim of the era that it released, in my opinion. I don't even necessarily blame the game specifically on its own. The Xbox Live system was pretty across the board used by a lot of games during that time, and it was complained about then. So it being complained about now is not a surprise. I mean, it was just more like a reminder of the dark days when we were bringing up. Charlie's like, oh, there's a fix. It's an Xbox Live thing. I was like, oh yeah, I haven't heard that name in years. the old overlay. And then I was haunted by it when we're trying to get it fixed. I was like, man, I forgot about this shit. I'm playing a Steam game, and then Xbox is like, hey, give us that CD key. I'm like, I already bought the fucking game. Just start the game. Like, no, we need that CD key. You're not going to pirate our game.
It has to be registered to Live, yeah.
And I'm like, you motherfuckers. They stopped doing that, which is great. So, yeah, but overall, I had a blast playing this game. I really enjoyed it. So, and I was really happy to see that you guys seemingly were enjoying it as well. So, it's a really fun cooperative game, and it's fully co-op, which is great. You can play the whole thing, co-op with your friends. You don't want to play the story by yourself. Play with people.
And there's bots too.
There's bots too. That's another thing too. The bots fucking do shit. Like, they're not just there to like fill the player spot. Like, they actually will like go take care of like nodes. They'll fucking do like activities like that you're supposed to be doing. They'll fucking shoot people and stuff. Like, they're there to fucking play with you, and so it's nice. Because there are some games where, like, say I wanted to play it single player and I didn't have 3 people to play with, and the NPCs are all stupid. It's an empty experience. It's not worth playing that way. Luckily, they were like, we got to make this playable for people, no matter how many people are playing. And I feel like they did it. So I was constantly impressed with, like, not an advanced AI, but that it was partaking.
And you
in
can
this
also
situation.
not have them
Functional.
too. So
Yeah.
yeah, they did a good job giving you options.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
The game seems pretty ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
So
It is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the multiplayer aspect of it. Playing with you guys, it definitely, to me personally, feels like a game that I would only play with other people. I did play a bit by myself, and it was just not as enjoyable. It was more about like I need to collect boxes so I can gamble to get the cosmetics because I'm a cosmetics whore.
this is true.
But that being said, not to rag on it too much because I agree with a lot of things you guys said, but it did feel, because of like how short the missions were, or the little submissions for each chapter were, it did feel like it lends itself well to like a rail shooter. Like it could be easily converted to a game that's more of like a rail shooter-esque. And just the overall clunkiness of all the menus outside of the gameplay were really just a bit where I felt like I was being bogged down too much by them. Even just finding out how to spend the money was like a menu within a menu hidden down in the bottom corner with a little button that didn't really explain it. I just happened to perchance, like, oh, what's this? Click on it and start earning things. But there seems to be a wide variety of, Capcom related items you can get. We played with a random guy and he had a serve bot head, just running around, rolling everywhere, shooting at things.
I still don't know how he got in that game. I had it on
I
private.
I still believe that guy's just roaming the servers on his own. He's like the elder of that game, just roaming the servers, just waiting for someone to show up. And he sees a bright light down the tunnel, and he's like, "Oh, someone's playing." And he fucking wandered down, and he like came. He's like, "What year is it? What's going on in the real world?" We're like, "What?" We're just playing Lost Planet 2. I sent him a message. I'm like, "Hey, dude, check out Tasty Loot Gaming if you want to see us talk about this game." And he just like, he just bailed, or we quit, or something. Something happened after that. The server like went down.
The server
instantly.
went down.
Yeah,
That's what happened. Yeah.
Our game went down instantly. And I was like, I
We
don't know if
lost
he
him.
did that. Like, did I insult the sacred aspect of this game? He's like, no, you can't do that. He fucking kicked us out. I don't know. It was like Gandalf, dude. He was good too. He was just wrecking shit.
Oh, yeah.
He was definitely a pro. He'd been playing for a long time.
Playing. At first, I was like, man, that bot's really good. And I was like, that's a
I kept seeing him. I was like, why does that bot look like that? He didn't look like that earlier. And then he's like doing shit random and weird. I was like, wait, that's a person?
that seems not robotic. Yeah.
That's one of the fun things I think this game has is because the cosmetics can be so zany and goofy, as well as like all the weird titles you can get and stuff like that. The emotes that are in the game makes it sound like the story and the gameplay, whatever story there is, it seems a little more serious, but it's not afraid to make light of itself, which is always fun in games. Like that little fun factor of like, oh, look at me, I'm prancing like a schoolgirl and blowing kisses at everybody.
And jumping and like clicking your heels and stuff and fucking getting titles called Booze Hound while you're drinking. That happened to me. I was like, wow, okay, game. It's like, here's a title for you, asshole. I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah, and the customization of like your loadouts really allows you to build a character to your play style. But that being said, at the same time, you get all these cosmetics for a character, but you can't play the main story with those characters until you've beaten it all the way through once, is what I read. So it's slightly disappointing that I can't use the cosmetics that I get in the gameplay while I play with everybody else until I've already beaten the story with everybody else at the same time. It feels like
when I was looking at that, it looked like it was more so for the online versus stuff because it looked like different characters you're picking from or whatever. And then it seemed like this is very much of that time with Capcom as well. A lot of those games, they wanted you to beat one time and then they gave you a reason to come back and play it again. Resident Evil 5 was like that. Resident Evil 6 was like that. You would like unlock all this stuff right at the end of the game. And you're like, well, this is a weird time to be unlocking this finally. And it's because it wants you to play the game again.
Yeah. Well, I kind of understand in the mentality though of like, we want you to experience the game as it's kind of supposed to be presented, and then go through and do whatever you want.
Well, and also you're playing their story the first time through, so they probably want you to look the part of their characters and their lore.
Yeah, and
which
not
makes
like
sense to me.
A guy with a Lego head.
Yeah, and so then when you beat it, then you can like fuck with the way the game and world looks and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was really fun playing with everybody else. Playing by myself, not so much.
Yeah, I've never played this game by myself. I played Lost Planet by myself, but Lost Planet 2, I've only ever played with people. So
I feel like most games that kind of give that hub based vibe anyways are always better with people. So.
Yeah. And the rail shooter, I'm not sure. I don't really have a whole lot to say on that part. That's obviously just the way you see it. But the level thing I do actually like, because there's games out there now, like for an example, like Red Dead Redemption 2. That's just like a game you're living in.
Everything Ubisoft.
And you're just going, and it's this big, vast adventure, and like that's great for those experiences. But sometimes I like to just play a fucking game. And sometimes I like to play something that I can go do something every couple minutes. And like this gives you a very definite fucking like, here's the beginning of the mission. You complete the mission. Congratulations. Here's your scores. Get ready for the next mission.
Like EDF.
But, like what?
Like EDF.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, even when he's talking about the menus and stuff, I'm like, this ain't as bad as EDF, man. So fucking Japanese games in general are really menu heavy anyway. And so I'm always expecting that with a lot of their games. But yeah, EDF is fucking its menus are atrocious, and the buttons you got to press to navigate through them, and you can open up like its full fucking arsenal of chat options at any point in the game when you're like selecting your character stuff. You can just open up things like you start singing fucking songs and shit. I'm like, why is this here, dude? This is just in the way. It is interesting that that slot machine thing is it's just in one of the menus, but I have a really hyperactive mind, so it's hard for me to fucking pay attention to shit. So like a lot of times I play and I learn through experience. So if it did say anything about that, I just didn't notice it. But once it's figured out, it was fucking pretty straightforward. So
I think that really we said it in the beginning though. It has quality of life issues, and that is
100%.
a glaring part of that. Like
it has stuff that could easily be improved, but the core concept is really worth playing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's just some stuff that really needs to be tweaked, for sure.
Real bad.
Quality of life stuff, for sure. But I would like to see if they do make a new one. I wouldn't want to see it go like streaming open world style or anything like that. I do like the mission aspect of it. It does feel like a video game. It feels like a game to me still. And but yeah, those menus got to get fucking worked on. The server fucking joining and staying in a game needs to get worked on. Fucking the Xbox Live thing will be worked out because it's just not a thing anymore. Luckily, fucking thank you. Those are the dark ages of PC gaming, and
more bloat. Hooray!
Yeah, if people are like pissed nowadays of like, oh, there's a new launcher. I'm like, it works at least. I mean, yeah, it's annoying. I'm with you guys. I 100% agree. Too many launchers, but at least they all work. Back in the day, it's like, you bought on Steam, but you got to use it through us, and it's not going to be easy to use through us. And it's like, okay, thanks. Thanks for making this more complicated and stupid and really broken. Needs to be, yeah. Yeah. Anything else you want to say on that, Chris?
No, I think I got my piece.
Favorite weapons that you used so far?
I mean, I didn't really get a chance to unlock very many. I kept getting titles for some reason. So, but I mean, the gun sword thing was pretty neat. At first I thought maybe it was just like what it was going to be called, and then I realized it was replacing my melee, the rifle butt with actual sword attacks. I was like, oh, okay, that's actually pretty neat, and it killed instantly. It seemed like for most humanoids, so you just had to get close.
Yeah, it's a game you're not really trying to get up close to people because everybody's just shooting.
No, they'll mow you down
and
quick.
The snipers are one-shot kill assholes. As soon as all three of us showed up, they'd be like, hey, Seth, bop! I'm like, okay, there's a sniper. And everybody's like, haha, what? And I'm like, nothing. I come back, and they're like, hey, Seth, bop! I'm like, fuck's going on? And everybody else is just shooting like, oh, you get killed by a sniper again? I'm like, yeah. I come back, like, hi. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why are they shooting me only? What the fuck is going on? And then later, someone's like, oh, I got shot by a sniper. I'm like, that sucks.
Mid-jump. I got shot mid-jump.
I was like, that sucks. You got killed, but thank you. I'm so sick of getting one-shotted by these fucking people. I see a little red line. I'm like, oh, what? And I'm dead. Instant. I'm like, fuck. I get it, man. I get you got a sniper rifle that should kill, but Jesus, give me a second. Let me have fun with it at least. Like, whoa, no, a laser. I need to get out of the way. But as soon as you see it, it's like,
yeah.
dead.
I mean, that was the only weapon I really had gotten access to outside of the base weapons. And it's neat, but I do think the normal machine gun is still more versatile. So, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't get probably just the rifle slot so far. So
I like that all the big weapons they remind me of EDF in the sense that they're big and they are clunky and slow to use or whatever, but they're powerful.
yeah,
So like the giant fucking shotgun you can hold just goes boom, and then you gotta wait a second, you go boom and shoot, and then fucking there's what's the other one? There's like a fucking Gatling gun. I kind of hate that thing because it sits so low that a lot of times I'm just shooting the hill in front of me.
oh yeah, that would be
I was
frustrating.
like, this is fucking annoying. Hold it like this or something, like over your head, and be like, that makes way more sense to me. If you're already holding that thing anyway, you got the fucking muscle. Hold it up high. I think there's like a missile launcher too. There was like a normal missile launcher, but was there like a?
There is a big like rocket launcher.
Yeah, those are all fun
So
to
like
use.
5 ammo.
Especially when you're fighting the boss, it feels good to get those. Like when you're fighting normal people, the big weapons weren't like super fun for me to use. But when you're fighting like a giant boss, it's cool to just fucking unload with some big ass weapon.
I don't know. We had a sniper holding us down that one time, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, and I shot a rocket at him.
It works. Although the blast radius is way bigger than what's getting hit. You just watch the explosion go, oh, and it's just like this giant thing, everything's shaking and shit.
the actual
And there's like
hitbox is like
one
this
guy
big.
who got fucking killed, and there's other people run through the fire. I'm like, okay, that was fucking all show.
All show, yeah.
Yeah,
And one very deadly spot.
yeah, pinpoint accurate. But yeah, I liked a lot of the huge weapons. I also like the mechs. I think they all move really slow, but you do feel like you can take rounds and get hit for a while and stuff, and it can change the atmosphere of a firefight.
I like the style of the mechs too, because they remind me of something that was like modified to be a weapon.
Yeah.
Like it used to be like a work,
Yeah, because those like these bipedal, slow moving things, and there's just a gun
they're
attached
frames.
to it. Yeah, and you can rip those guns off them. I think.
Yeah.
Can't you?
Yeah,
Come
you can
right
swap them around.
I was
Yeah.
saying they literally just feel like a frame that was used for like they're like utility knives essentially, and
Yeah.
they're like we're putting guns on them now. So I don't know. I like the design. Like in the beginning when you were in the one, I was hanging on the side. I was like, this is kind of neat.
Yeah, as soon as I started playing, Shoei got on the mech. He's like, "This is kind of cool." I'm like, "Yeah, it is, isn't it? This is pretty cool."
I don't know, I was stuck in a flying box the whole time. I don't know what they're talking about.
And Chris is getting dropped off by his mom in the van. She's like, "Where are your friends at?" He's like, "I don't know. In the snow
They're
somewhere."
already
That's what they
fighting
said.
the bugs, Mom. I have to get
Drop-
and help them.
Drop me off over by the big bug. They're probably there. Hey, I'm here. Any weapons stand out to you, Chris?
I played a lot. I really like the shotguns. Like I like shotguns in most games, just because I like to be able to. If someone gets too close, I want to just get them out of my face.
Mm-hmm.
But in this game, they have a much better range to them. They're not just like all using bird shot.
Yeah, you can shoot pretty far with them. Yeah.
It was really nice. It was really nice. But I think I spent a lot of time playing with sniper rifles, to be honest.
Yeah, it seemed like you're doing that. Use the shield for a little bit, which is kind of interesting. Me and Chris had this. We were like going through a tunnel full of like turrets, and he was just like walking with the shield, and I get behind him, and I was just like had a giant weapon. Half the time I was just shooting into his back, doing nothing. But fucking sometimes I was hitting the enemy, and fucking they're just shooting at him, and I'm shooting at them. And then sometimes they just shoot right over at Chris, right into me, and I'm shooting back into them. And Chris is just sitting there with the shield, and I'm like, I gotta kill them before they kill me, because I'm sitting here tanking fucking rounds while Chris is just slowly scooting forward with his shield, and I'm just behind going, okay. So sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but it was still neat
Yeah.
to go through like that.
There was one gripe I thought about now mentioning sniper rifles is that if you zoom in, it's like a lock function. You zoom in and it stays zoomed in until you click the zoom
It's
in
a toggle,
again.
yeah.
Yeah, which I'm sure there's an option for it somewhere in the 800 menus.
Yeah, I believe
never
on
used it.
controller it was one of the analogs you had to click in and it would zoom in all the way. And since the game has an auto aim anyway, you can just stay zoomed in. Whereas nowadays you'd probably have a fucking hold fucking left trigger to aim
To
type
aim down
thing.
sights,
So the
yeah.
game, was a third person action game first and a shooter second, and that's why it feels so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Even though you're using guns constantly, it's like, oh, you're gonna be doing a lot of platforming and jumping around. Okay, but just make shooting easier. Oh, we gave you auto aim. It's fine. Okay, there's better ways to do that. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say on it?
No, not really. I think we said a lot.
Enjoyable experience, but definitely got some rough spots.
To the point where I'd say I would totally play it again.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I actually, even after this month, would like to continue playing it because I was really enjoying playing it, even outside of all the issues. Let's jump into recommendations. Unless you guys have something to say. I would recommend this to anybody who played any of the Lost Planet games. For some reason, you skipped 2. 2 is really neat. In fact, when I was looking up the synopsis of the game to kind of confirm if the story is exactly what I thought it was or not, a couple of reviews, like Kotaku and stuff, was like, bigger doesn't necessarily mean better. And I was like, I don't know. It's fun to me. So that's Kotaku. Everybody, that was a long time ago. And nowadays, everybody just hears Kotaku and they're like, yeah, okay. So that's nothing surprising. But yeah, if you like, I guess most Capcom cooperative games, it definitely has that Capcom cooperative vibe to it. It does kind of remind me of Monster Hunter in some ways. Not, specifics, but it does kind of remind me of that. It reminds me of Resident Evil. It reminds me of fucking Dead Rising. It reminds me of a lot of the games they've already made, but in its own unique way. If you like third-person action games and third-person shooters, I think it's definitely worth checking out. Specifically, if you like those games with cooperative play, because that is a huge factor of this game, and I think it is the way to play the game. I'm sure there's fun to be had playing by yourself, specifically if you're a person who doesn't like to play with people. Some people like to play a game on their own. But this game, if you're looking for a cooperative, shooter experience with friends, it definitely is built for that. And I think it does it really well. If you like kind of, I don't know, planetary sci-fi games, like you're on a planet that doesn't feel like this planet, it does have its own vibe going on. There's a cool sci-fi element to it. If you kind of like some cheesy Japanese action movie / game tropes, this game has them. It's definitely kind of cheesy in some ways, but it's fun cheesy. And big bug stuff too. If you like EDF, if you like stuff like Starship Troopers or whatever, it does have a shoot the bugs while they're swarming you vibe to it, that I think is really fun and something that's not really touched on as much as you would assume it would be. There's only so many games I can go like, yeah, this is like a big bug shooter game.
For sure.
And I almost feel like there should have been more games like that because I like almost all of them. So, I mean, EDF is janky as fuck as well, and it's a blast. So
there's way too much game there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just fun games to play. So I like when people really get imaginative, and this game does that. Also, if you like boss battles in games, we sometimes will recommend games based off of, how much you like a boss battle. If it's, meant to be like, oh, here's a boss, it's going to be an event, versus like, oh, kill the guy and get rid of his,
Hit
points. Thank you. And this game is that. I mean, the bosses are all different, all unique, all have different mechanics and stuff, which is something that's really rare in games like this. And I really appreciate that. There's an imagination to this game that's really, really refreshing. So I would recommend it to people who are looking for that next boss they're gonna fight and see what it's like. So
yeah. The only thing I really have to add to that is hub-based games, like your Warframes, your Monster Hunters, Phantasy Star, stuff like that. It has that kind of vibe going with it. And then this one is more of a warning, I suppose, / recommendation. If you're going to play on PC, you need to be savvy in how to make things work on PC. I would recommend playing on console if you can.
Yeah,
you can get it
for
through
sure.
PlayStation now, and I believe you can probably get it on Xbox One. Because I know it has 360 support, and I'm sure it's in there. So I play it that way if you can. If you only have PC, just Google the fix. It'll be really easy to find and really easy to follow the instructions. But you do have about an hour before you're gonna get to play, essentially. So.
Yeah. So I mean, if you just load it up on something else and play it instantly, that's definitely the ticket. I don't think you're really gaining a whole lot playing with mouse and keyboard unless you just really want to play it that way, because the game still really plays fucking weird regardless. So the game was made for a controller.
Yeah.
It's really janky on a mouse and keyboard, but it's playable completely. You just kind of get used to it because it's unlike anything else, controls wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Chris?
No, I think you guys covered it pretty well.
All right, let's jump into grades. I want to know what Chris is going to grade it.
Oh dear, me first. Well, for me, it is unfortunate that it is a victim of its time period. I think the clunkiness, although the gameplay is really fun in a group. Like I said, solo.
He's going to talk it down and give it an A+. This game had a lot of things they should have worked on, but A+.
I feel really bad for doing this, but A-.
Anyway,
there's a lot of stuff to collect, but it's all random. It seems like there's no real set way of collecting anything. minor gripe, but the clunkiness of the systems really dragged it down for me. If they had fixed that somehow, like, you know, made it more PC friendly in some way whatsoever, like controls wise, and I hate the smallness of the missions. Like, just throw like 2 of them together. That'd be great for me. It'd be fine, but it's still like a base game enjoyable. But I'm gonna have to give it a C plus.
That's decent.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, that's a C plus. I'll go next.
Okay.
I really enjoy this game, even with all the bullshit. The reason my grade will be what it is because it could be higher, but it's gone down because we had issues. There's technical issues. There's the game's older issues.
They're
There's
impossible not to.
inexcusable issues, and there's some jank there that's inconvenient. But I think once you get past all that, the game is a really, really fun game to play. It's a fun game to play. It's a fun game to play with your friends. It's made for that. It does it well. There's a lot of imagination here. There's a lot of gameplay here that I really dig, and there's a lot of ways to play this game, and there's a lot of cool, modifier stuff to use in this game. And for all that, I'm gonna give it a B plus. I really enjoy this game. I think it's really awesome, and I think it's really unique. And playing it just makes me really want a new one because the game is there. Lost Planet is Lost Planet. There's no game like Lost Planet. So, you know, if they want to get people excited again, people liked Lost Planet 1 and 2. They didn't like 3. Mm-hmm. You make a new one and you make it more like the first 2, you're going to get this sleeping group of fans who are going to pick that game up. Including myself. So, you know, playing Lost Planet 2 just reminded me of what a really cool fucking IP. I remember when the first Lost Planet came out, the buzz around it was fucking crazy. You were working at GameStop back then, and they had that demo unit, and people would always come in and be like, what is that? And they like start playing or whatever, and like, this game's awesome.
There's always huge cardboard standees for it and stuff too.
Yeah, there's just like always people asking questions about it, playing, going, oh, this game's awesome and shit. And then the second one came out, and it was like, this one's a big adventure that you play with your friends and stuff. Was the same experience, like gameplay wise, and they really nailed it. I think it's a really fun game that I can, you know, if I'm playing a game that I think is okay and it's got the same issues that this game had, I would go, and it's not worth it. I'll just drop out real quick. But I found myself coming back and playing this, and that really shows that the game is a really fun game worth playing. So even with all that, I give it a B plus. So I really enjoy it.
I mean, I have a pretty similar mentality on it. I think if the core of this game existed in a modern in modern game design, this would easily be an A game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's fun. It is fun. It has the formula to be just endless co-op gameplay, you know, especially with good support.
This could be like a huge franchise if they didn't kill it off.
Yeah.
And you know, let it modernize over time like all other games.
But and I'm not going to go too far down the road again with this, but because of the issues, I can't give it an A. I can't give it a C either. I do think this is a B quality game. I'm going to go B minus, just because the headaches are like non-existent these days. So, but
yeah, it's great.
I had fun, and I know I would have fun playing it again. Mm-hmm. So it has to be at least a B for me because I would love to play it again. That is in itself, I think, a B statement. So
yeah, I think the B for me is because there is no game like this. So if I want to play a game like this, I got to play Lost Planet.
Yep.
So in that sense, it excels where there's a lot of third-person shooters out there that feel like other third-person shooters. Yep. And you know, I could play one and go, well, I'd rather play that one, or oh, I'm playing this, but that other one's coming out soon, so I'm gonna go play that. But you know, if I want to play Lost Planet, when we got this pulled and we had to play it, I'm like, oh yeah, that game's awesome. There's no game like that. And we played it. I'm like, yeah, this game's fucking awesome. So it's really hard for me to go lower than a B as well, for that reason, because it's very unique. I agree though. If this game was newer and still did all the same stuff but worked really well and it played better, you know, controls wise and all that shit, I could definitely see giving it an A. Especially if the story was good. The story so far is very just dorky. But over dramatic. I love it, but it's not anything I'm like, oh, I love this. I need to know what's gonna happen next.
You know, this gameplay style. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say I didn't even know what the fuck was going on with the story. There's bugs, shoot them. Oh, now there's pirates, shoot them.
That's pretty much the story.
Killing pirates, killing bugs. Yep.
Like they went to the jungle to kill the pirates, and they got set up. I'm like, okay.
This jungle smells bad.
I also think that
they never smelled jungle before. Apparently,
I think this game would also benefit from like old school, how old school Warframe worked, where like there's tile sets. and enemy
Yeah.
types
That'd be
and
cool.
stuff like that. And obviously for bosses, make set pieces then.
Yeah.
But like that would also make replayability less monotonous, I think, too.
Yeah, they just have to be pretty generous with the tile sets, because I wouldn't want to. I mean, you are every time you play this playing the same level each time, but they at least all felt different.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas I wouldn't want to play a lot of levels that all felt kind of the same, just with the tile set. It's a good idea. Like if they did it right, it would work. But
Just some random element, I think, would extend gameplay. So
yeah. I mean, I think the weapons and the chests you're opening, stuff like that, is a random element. And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe random enemy placement would be cool as well. I do like the idea of levels though, because this is a game you can go, oh hey, remember level 6 when
true.
that shit happened, and it has those memorable moments, which
suppose-
is harder to do in a dynamic randomized game, which is of course a type of game I really enjoy, but for like grinding games, I typically like that because it breaks up the monotony of replaying things.
Yeah.
Whereas a game like this, you beat the story and then you play the story again with all your new shit, but you're doing all the levels that you love, and the ones you don't love, you're like, oh man, this one again, and then you play this one, you're like, oh, this one's fucking cool though. This boss battle is really neat.
Yeah, well, I mean, they could also do something kind of like, this could be a weird example because we just played it, but Neo, where it is the same map, but like you said, enemy placement and your starting position are different, stuff like that, or just like that's a side mission you do in that map or something instead of the story mission. So,
Or yeah, or like alternate versions of that level with different ways to play or something like that would be kind of interesting. So there's a lot of things I could do with it. I do enjoy the set piece nature to this game. It is sometimes a spectacle, and that's kind of difficult to do in a more dynamic game. But they could definitely do it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to if they were going to make a sequel, I would want them to take all the things that make this game, and just modernize it, make it look better, make it play better. Make the controls more standard. You can easily have this game play like any shooter on the fucking planet. The only thing that's really different about it is it's got a grappling hook. You can just have a shoulder button do that. Or,
Grappling hook, like all of 4 feet.
I think it doesn't go very far. But
Helps you climb stuff though.
it does. It comes in handy. Anything else you guys want to say on it? We got a C+, B-, and B+.
I'm the bitch of the group.
So
Fuck this game.
I fucking hate it. I like it, but it's bad. All fair grades, but definitely more different than some. Sometimes we're all pretty much on the same page. Sometimes we're different. So it's kind of the beauty of it. Let us know in the comments what you guys think of Last Planet 2, Final Fantasy. Planet 2. Lost Planet 2. Did you play it? Did you not play it? Did you play it back in the day? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you play Lost Planet 3? Why didn't you like it? Because nobody liked that fucking game. And yeah, would you want a new Lost Planet? What would you want from it? What's some things you think they could do to improve it? Did you experience this game on PC back in the day or recently? And yeah, what would you grade it? But that's going to do it for this episode of Game of the Month. As always, thank you for watching. Also, thank you for voting for everything, but of course the winner, Sea of Thieves, which we will be playing in December for the community pick. And yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Tasty Loot Gaming. Check our streams. Links down below. I'm on Mixer, Twitch, and YouTube. I'm going to say it slow this time because last time I was like Twixer. Share's on Mixer. Chris is on Twitch. We're all on different things. Links down below. It makes it easier. We have Discord, link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. If you prefer to listen to us in audio form, listen to us through your eyes. You're not using them here. I'm tired. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
Until the next episode, should be Tuesday for Tasty Tuesday. Have a good week, guys, and take it easy.
Listen with your eyes.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It sounded good at the time.